Alrighty, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of The Climb, the podcast where we discuss all things Diamond and below, the working class MMRs type of people. We're here to support them and have them just give them support. Fuck it. We're
Yeah, we can dedicate this episode to all the ladder heroes out there, regardless of MMR, right?
Yep. All the working class MMRs, we are here for you. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Dan. I go by Captain Hoppa. I am a Diamond Zerg, and I'm in Diamond, and I'm out here on the ladder all the time in my stream, just grinding games, just trying my best to get good, like they say, and you know the experience, and there's a lot of ups and downs, and we're here to talk about it. I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too. For those of you who don't know, I am Lord Cranial, Will. I am a Diamond Terran player, typically stream here on Twitch. Uh, Probably a little bit on the saltier side than my friend Dan is here, but we're all trying to work on that. We're all trying to be a little bit more positive and actually gain an MMR instead of blaming the Protoss players.
I mean, you can blame them a little bit. It's okay.
Yeah,
We don't have
there's
any Protoss representation on this show, but it's okay. We can
yeah,
we can
we're
do
gonna
that.
go ahead. We're gonna go ahead right off the top. We're just gonna alienate all of them. All of the
No,
work.
no.
Yeah.
All Protoss players are just as hardworking.
Yeah, 100%. We're not here to balance wine tonight. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start the show off with our first segment. How's ladder? So Dan, how's the ladder going for you?
Uh, okay. Uh, so it's still kind of early in the season, so I feel like we just passed that kind of like early map part of the season where it's like wild and like extra cheesy and all that. Um, so it's different, right? Everyone's kind of settling into the maps, and I feel okay. Um, I think the weirdest thing that's happened to me this season and most recently is that my matchup like numbers have changed. Um, ZVP has always been a struggle for me. Just it's challenging and it doesn't work very well with my play style and choices. So it's always been pretty bad. So it recently my ZVP's been a little bit better, but my ZVZ has completely tanked. Uh,
Oof.
and it's one of those things where like ZVZ is it's my jam, dude. Like I I really enjoy the matchup, and um I feel like I always have a good plan in ZVZ, and I feel like I always I can always look at a replay of ZVZ that I've played and be like, yeah, okay, I know exactly where I went wrong. Um, but lately I've just been losing a lot. And I have ideas. I have ideas on why I'm losing so much. I think a lot of it is I have a lot more of uh, a YOLO attitude where I'm just like, let's go all in, and like I just go for it. Or like I have a game plan in ZVZ normally, right? Like I'll try to do like a Ling Bane pressure and then try to create enough distance for me to get ahead and then just win with the next roach push, right? That's how I imagine it in my mind. Um, but I've had a lot of games where like I can't close it out with that roach push, and then I just kind of flounder around for like another 5 minutes while still kind of being dead, but fighting and being dead.
Yeah.
um, but I mean, other than that, it's going pretty well. It's average, but I am a little like I don't know, man. I'm just a little worried about my ZVZ and the fact that like my MMR is a tad lower than I like it to sit at. I'm sitting at like 3.6, and normally I'm like 3.7 to 3.8 ish. We just kind of poked back up towards 3.7 the other day, but it's still, hey, I always expect it to fluctuate a lot anyways. I try not to really um, focus super hard on like the the number of MMR. Like I don't even look at the last two digits most of the time. Just like it's just the ballpark. It's just a number there that I glance at every once in a while. Um, I try my best not to look at it after every game, but that's just me.
Yeah, I definitely feel that for sure. I mean, every single one of our matchups are going to go through like some weird type of fluctuation, right? Like there have been times where it's just like, TVP, I have no clue what's going on in TVZ. I'm just like, yeah, I have this matchup figured out and I'm not going to lose a TVZ. But I mean, recently it's actually kind of flipped. Like now I'm looking at TVP, I'm just like, oh yeah, I know what this guy's doing. I'm just going to go crush him real quick. And then TVZ is just like, if I see another Ravager, I'm going to explode.
Yeah, Rogue didn't really help you with that too much. I
I
apologize.
don't even think it's like it's something that I've been able to reliably beat, but people saw Rogue do it and they're just like, all right, we're really going to get these timings down. We're going to absolute like it's now showing
Yeah,
up
yeah,
like
yeah,
30 seconds faster than I'm expecting. I'm just like, I have two tanks. I don't know what to do.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know about you, but for me, I definitely have a problem when I feel really good in a matchup to where I get overconfident in that matchup, and then I start trying to like improvise or like, you know, just basically be like, "Oh, I can try this. We'll see if it works." And like it's just never to the same quality of something that I'm really focusing on and really trying to do. And honestly, when I start digging into my ZVZs, I'm not going to be surprised if like it's just like early game stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Just like, oh yeah, well, you're tunnel visioned and you think you're doing hot shit plays and it's clearly not worth it and you think you're ahead and you're behind and like I have a feeling it's going to be mostly that stuff. Um but that's the process.
Well, yeah, it's that always seems to be the case for me too. It's just like, I lose a game. I'm just like, I don't get it. That 8 minute drop just destroyed everything. I don't understand. And then I look back and it's just like, I wasn't making SCVs for 2 minutes. There are no
Yeah.
mule drops. The fourth
Yeah.
base is late. I have maybe 15 supply of army back home. So it's just like, I don't know what to tell you, dude. You should have actually been macroing instead.
Yeah, it's really common. Like I've had this happen to me a lot, like when I rank up, like back in the day when I like broke through to plat or to even to diamond, like I feel like I'm really cool and I can just start doing whatever I want, but like at the end of the day, you're still kind of the gatekeeper is still the macro tidiness and the macro routine, as boring and as simple as it is, it still is a very strong, like you can't completely go off book. You can go a little bit off book, but like you can't just make it up and expect it to work. At least that's my experience.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there have definitely been times where I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna, you know, throw. I'm just gonna throw something out there and see if it works. And 9 times out of 10 it doesn't. But that one time, it feels pretty cool, and you kind of get this misguided feeling of just like, yeah, this is what I should be doing.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, and it's it's just a different it's fun to play. It's fun to play when you think you're cool though. I will say that. Like I've had some games where like I do cool shit, like I cancel a baneling nest or something after it gets scouted, and I'm just like, ooh, I'm being sneaky. Is it gonna completely change the outcome of the game? No, but it's fun. Like like I'm having a lot of fun doing it. So hey, you gotta find a way sometimes, and I think that's something I try to do in my play, but it's also just like I think as someone, when you're playing StarCraft, like you would like to win all of your games, right? Like that's the goal, to win
Yep.
all of them, but
Yep.
you really can't have that kind of expectation despite the fact that it would be nice and it would be very enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man, I mean, it's a work in progress, and I still always feel like I'm a better player. Like even when even when my MMR is not where I want it to look like it's at, I still feel like I'm a much better player. Like I've been at 3.6 many times, right? And I've gone up and I've gone down, and I've gone lower and then I've gone back up and then I've gone up further. But every time I'm there, I'm still way better than I was. Like just more flexible, more adaptive, better equipped to deal with different situations, all that sort of stuff. Um, and so I've kind of learned to I try my best to kind of look past that and be like, well, I actually am improved, despite
Yeah.
the number, despite that number that's staring at me and telling me my worth. I I need to tell myself that I'm actually better, and I am, like just fundamental wise and awareness and just experience wise, I have so much more than I have had before.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. I
but yeah,
Yeah, I feel like MMR isn't a true reflection of your skill as a StarCraft 2 player. I'm pretty sure this is a topic that we had set up for, in the future, but we can go into it a little
yes.
bit now.
Yes,
But
this is the teaser.
yeah. But like cuz I routinely stick around the D3 D2 range. But recently I've been able to take on or yeah, I've been able to take on like Diamond 1 players and not just like make them sweat, but I've actually been able to beat them like it's kind of it's still a small number, like maybe 1 out of 5 times or something, but it's still just like actually I'm better than that than what my MMR is saying right now. I just get caught with a bunch of crap on ladder.
Yeah, and I think it's also one of those things where the MMR is it really it'll kind of put you in a box, of like you're in this range, but the number is gonna be what you are at that particular instant. Or not even that, right? Like sometimes you haven't played for 2 weeks, you still got the same MMR, but you're gonna play 200 MMR lower because you're not in shape in the same way,
Yeah.
right? Um, but the other thing I really look at, and I think this is something that a lot of people relate to, is that there are so many things that happen in a game. Um, and the thing that gets you to lose the game and lose those precious numbers might not have anything to do with your decisions or uh, your direct actions, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard to control. There's just things you can't control, um, and it's definitely a challenge to reason that because it's a lot of times too. I mean, I think we've all had games where like we're ahead for like 80% of the game, and then one thing happens, right? Is it preventable? Yeah, probably, but like it happened, like it has already occurred, and that will determine the outcome of that particular game, right?
Yeah.
Um, and you could still be the better player and be like, oh yeah, well I'm dead.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of MMR though, I've actually been going up rather significantly recently. I
Yeah,
haven't been able to play much ladder this week. I've been kind of busy with other, real life stuff. But
sure.
the previous week, I was just on a roll, like more so than I felt like I ever had before. Like I was feeling really good on ladder, and was having like nights where I was having like an 80% win rate or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those nights where I'm just like, I am so powerful right now. I'm going to end this stream. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to scream because that's how I'm feeling right now. I feel powerful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, there's still a bunch of like little things that I'm still picking up on. But the weird thing is that like, well, I guess it's like I'm seeing these little mistakes, but the rest of my stuff is still like very very strong. And then like in the next game I'm have those kind of thoughts in my head. It's just like, okay, this is kind of what happened last game, we're going to try and improve on it. And then for like the mental block is suddenly gone, and now I'm just like crushing people on ladder. It's been fantastic.
Oh yeah, you gotta enjoy it when you got it, and
Yeah.
that's it's always a great feeling. Is there any matchup in particular that like is different or challenging or easy or whatever for you right now?
So right now, I think PvP and weirdly enough, or TvP, I should say, is weirdly enough a pretty strong matchup for me right now. And I think it's just because my practice partner Helium Bunny has been caving my skull in every other
Yep.
night.
Yep.
But yeah, I've been feeling incredibly strong, and it's just like, just I feel like I'm just outpacing my opponent constantly. I'm just like one widow mine drop ahead of them, and just not only out macroing them, but just kind of outmaneuvering them as well. Just like, I know where your army is, so I'm just going to drop your base. Oh, you recalled? Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and drop a widow mines in your third base.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm very well versed with getting beat up by Helium Bunny as well.
Yep.
Um, but it's also one of these things too where it's like um, it's fantastic when you can play someone who's like a handful of MMR higher than you, right? Because um, it really forces you to just have like the right like ready posture and like just to just know that certain things will be exploited, right? And to just know that like before it happens, even like I should be prepared for 18 charge lots in my base because it's that charge lot time,
Yep.
and I'm looking to push across the map. So, and then when you go to ladder, right, and you're playing people who are more true to your MMR, not a deal bigger than you, um, it feels different. It feels uh like yeah, like you were saying, like you're in control. Like
Yeah.
where it's gonna go, or you can kind of just be comfortable in that kind of moment. And that's something I've certainly felt after you like grind some practice games with people, and especially if even if you lose 10 games in a row or whatever, like just getting that rhythm and getting that sort of tempo set really, really makes a difference. And it does feel like you have superpowers sometimes. I totally relate to that.
Yeah. It's actually funny that you mentioned the Healy charge lot all in, because since I've been practicing that so much with her, I ran across it on ladder and just stomped this dude. Like,
Yeah,
it's I misread one thing that entire game, and that was the fact that he proxied a warp gate at my third instead of bringing a warp prism. That was the only difference. And
yeah,
it's just like, oh, you're just attacking the front. I can do this. This is nothing. This is nothing. You have no idea how much I've practiced against this style.
yeah, yeah. No, for sure. And that's great, man. I'm glad it's going. It's got a positive note to start off the first episode. It's good.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and like for me, the other day, it was yesterday actually, I had a lot of like ZVPs that were weird. Um, So like most of the ZVPs that really frustrate me and really like beat me up a lot are the ones where it's just I am a standard macro Protoss and I will be standard and macro and eventually kill you with carriers. Because there's a lot of ways to get there, but it's the more like Zest style, the Gateway Men and the Robo All-Inners, like those people, I'm very well equipped to deal with them. And like
Yeah.
some days in my ZVP, it really just comes down to like what I run into. Like, what style are my mystery ladder opponents going to be bringing to the table today, right? Because
Yeah.
I think that's another big thing is that when you're laddering, like you just don't know, man. Like like you don't know. You don't know. You don't know what type of person this guy is on the other side, like you don't know their tendencies and their preferences and all that. Sometimes I make judgments, right? You get a Protoss and you catch him putting a pylon on the map and you're like, I know who I see where this is going. I played a guy yesterday where it was like he first of all, it was a forge opener, right? And it started with a proxy pylon, but I kid you not, I scouted the map. I scouted every corner of the map like 4 times within 3 minutes because I was like, I know that there's going to be a hidden base. I 100% know. And yes, the game lasted a lot longer, and there was a hidden base, and there were a lot of cannons, and it was very frustrating. But it's also like my experience of playing players like that, where I'm like, yeah, this guy's gonna have hidden base. Let's just cross the T's and dot the I's, send lings out every and like I kid you not, I would scout it and I'd be like, you know what, it's time for another scout because I didn't find anything. It's time for another scout because I just need to be certain. But you know, it's an experience thing, right? And
Yeah.
the more players I run into like that, the more equipped I'll be. Um, it's something in Diamond too that I think is very noticeable where there are situations where I'm like, oh, I've never been in this situation before.
Oh
This
yeah.
is this is a different way for me to be in this game. Like, and you just gotta kind of sweat your way out of it, and sometimes you can pull it off, and sometimes you can't. And you know, a lot of times, if it's the first time I've ever experienced a wacky build or something like that, like, hey man, it's okay. It's first one. I
Yeah. There's no feeling quite like I'm being nuked at 7:30. What? Who does that?
yeah.
But I had something that I wanted. Oh, right. So I feel like the fact like diamond most diamond players are trying to follow a specific build, but they're and this is all diamond players, every single one of us.
Yeah.
I'm definitely guilty of doing this, but our timings are also off. So you'll get somebody who says like, oh yeah, they're supposed to start +1 at this time. You go and scout and that's not started, so you're like, oh well, maybe it's something different. And then you get that
Yeah.
kind of like second guessing thing, and it turns out the guy's just like, oh, I forgot. Shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's really hard to be certain, and it's something that I've definitely, because like this is a ZVP thing. I don't know if you know this, but like one of the tells in ZVP, right? The Overlord Scout, if it scouts Warp Gate going instantly when the Cybercore is done, uh, then you know it's a Robo opener, right?
Yep.
And if there's a delay, then it's a Stargate, right? That's very common, like a way to scout indirectly. But in Diamond, sometimes they just forget it.
I'm the person.
It's
Look,
just 10 seconds late, you know, and
I'm the
it's like,
person. Yeah, I'm the person who will start it and start a Stargate. I'm one of those people. I'm guilty of it.
yeah. Yeah, and it's just like, well, okay, I can't count on that information to be 100% solid all of the time. Certainly it's good to notice, and it's good to like practice noticing those type of subtle things because I do think that will pay off down the road, right? But it's also like, well, I'm still gonna send the OVN and take a look, right?
Yeah,
I'm still gonna check for me. If I'm right from my previous assumption, great. If I'm wrong, well, I'll probably see it. Um, but you know, it's the I don't know. It's just the standard human error that is applied to all players, right? And Diamond is you can have a Diamond player who's really really tight in really specific ways, and then other things are just completely gone, completely forgotten, and it's tough. It's tough to be a well-rounded player, you know. And I think
yeah,
that that's something that I've certainly learned a lot of in Diamond, where I feel like how I got to Diamond is really just like, yeah, I grinded this one build order and I made a lot of shit every game, and then I would just walk over and kill my opponent, right? There was a
yep,
little more finesse to it in Platinum. I had to do a little more adjustments, but then now that I'm in Diamond, I have to know what's happening, and that's
yep,
also why ZVP is typically a struggle for me, is because I'm notorious at not knowing what's happening, and in ZVP, uh, you can just be dead if you don't know what's happening. Um, you're done. Oops, oops, you lose. Like, and it's something I'm still working on, and I've been I definitely feel like I'm better at it. Is it where I want it to be? Not quite, but um, it's a challenging prospect to know what's going on for me. But
yeah,
um, baby steps, you know.
yeah. I've been trying to keep Day Nine recently released a new video called "Just effing kill them," and
Yeah,
it's something that I've been trying to keep in mind because it's just like if they're doing their build incorrectly, then they're going to have like they're going to have open weak points, and the weak points in the build are going to be even more pronounced. So just go kill them.
Yeah,
It is one of those things that's kind of hard to keep in mind like during a game. It's just like, oh well, opponent didn't start +1. Okay. When in reality I already have 2/2, so I can just go across and just mow their army down. But
yeah,
the stuff like that never really occurs to you because it's just like this is a big Protoss army and I'm scared.
sure. Yeah. I don't know. Do you have anything you're like particularly working on in your games right now?
Right now it's my big focus is actually TvP because I'm still trying to tighten down the bolts on 211
Sure.
because it's one of those builds that's very very precise. Like you're constantly at 0 minerals and you're supposed to be,
Yeah.
and like at all times you have to be making 2 SCVs, 3 Marines. Like everything has to get out at a very specific time or your drop's not going to be successful. So that's been something I'm focusing on. um Another thing is kind of mini map awareness and keeping scouts out on the field. That's something I've been trying to work on a little bit more.
Sure.
Just because I've been getting, I would be getting caught like on the field with no idea of,
Yeah.
that my opponent's army is coming either towards my army or, going to my base.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah. What about
I
you,
mean,
man?
yeah. So, a lot of it's been like I've been very focused on ZVP, and my ZVP builds are not that complicated. It's usually a queen walk these days, but I've been trying to work on it, off of a 12 pool start or something like that, and I feel pretty comfortable about doing the old macro 12 pool in ZVP. It's quite a nice build, and it's fantastic, and I feel pretty well practiced by it and all that. But the other thing, so this is what I was working on last week. I'm not so working on it before, but I was working on like just injecting faster and more frequently. Um, so there's this arcade thing where it's just the inject spam and like
Oh, yeah, yeah. I've seen you play that.
yeah, it's really boring. Like it's not fun to watch, but it's literally you have queens that have like instant energy regeneration, and then you have 4 bases already made, and I can just spam it. And like it's actually made my hands like a lot faster, and my ability to just inject 3 or 4 bases just all the way down, like it's actually really improved. And it's something I noticed yesterday where I was like, oh, that was a fast sequence. um and then after that, and the other thing I'm doing, this is a little adventurous, but it's I turned off my alert sounds in game.
What?
So so I still get like the main alerts I don't get is I don't get the mineral alert, the and the your supply blocked alert. Um and the reason I did that is to really just trick myself into looking at my supply more.
Oh,
Um because it's one of those things that I realize where I'm like, well, if if I'm getting the alert in my ear that I am supply blocked, it is already way past me saving that,
yeah.
right? And one of the things I learned, I think this was in a Vibe video or something like that, where it was like, yeah, if you want to not get supply blocked, just look at your supply all the time. Because the more you look at it, the more you will notice it when it is not right, or when you're like planning for the future, or like, you're about to make 20 roaches and you need a big ceiling or something like that. But you just got to look at it. And it's the same thing with a lot of the attack alerts where I have to look at my minimap and I have to look at my supply. And honestly, I've kind of gotten used to it. Like it's it's not that bad. It was kind of weird. I still get supply blocked. Like I'm not bulletproof, but it's definitely better. Like there's certain early game ones where I'm always looking at it. I still sometimes hit like the big ones, like 106 and like 154 or something like that. But um, it's pretty incredible. It definitely feels drastic, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I couldn't. I mean, it sounds like It sounds like one of those ideas that's good and bad at the same time. Because
Yes.
I definitely rely on my alerts a lot because I'm always like keeping track of like because usually I have my army split into two groups and I'm keeping track of it that way. But maybe it would actually pay off to turn those off and like learn to just keep an eye on the mini map. Maybe
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
actually
hey,
interesting.
try it in a custom game. You know, see how it fits on you.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely use a new way of learning to not supply block myself because right now the current method is something that I think Damp told me. One of the members of NSGSL, he said just hotkey two SCVs and just have them constantly producing. Like check in on them like every once in a while. If they're not building a supply depot, build a supply depot, which has
Yeah.
been fairly successful for me. I would say fairly successful, but I feel like it could be like tuned in even more. Maybe that's the thing I need to do.
Yes. The dedicated job for those SCVs for all of their lives.
Yeah, they signed up to create, incredible mega structures out on the fields of battle, and they're stuck on the back lines making supply depots. That's like that's like,
Yes. What is my purpose? You build depots.
oh my god. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Yeah. I
S-
mean, I think that's pretty good on what I'm doing on the ladder these days.
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah.
So
No, it's good. I learned a lot about you. It's good.
I learned a lot about you. It's kind of interesting to kind of get into each other's minds a little bit this way. So
Yes. I also think it's interesting that we have different because we play different races. There's just different techniques involved. You know.
yeah, that's true. That's true. It's I don't know. I couldn't imagine having to
Yeah. No.
sacrifice
Go
an
ahead.
XCV. Yeah. So the main topic for the first podcast is going to just be about our StarCraft 2 story. How did we get into it? How do we get to the competitive side of it? What keeps us going? What potential roadblocks we're facing. So Dan, I kind of want to open it up to you. How'd you get
Sure.
into it?
Um. So first of all, I love this topic. Like I love hearing about this for all people in the community. It's one of my favorite things too, like on like ARET's interviews and stuff. Um, so I'll start at the beginning. I'll start at the earliest introduction of me to the StarCraft franchise. So little personal history about me is that when I was a kid, I was in a Mac household. So I was a Mac gamer um, back in the day, and Blizzard was the only company that ever made decent games for the Mac. Like there were like educational games and there were Blizzard games. That's it. Those are the only ones that existed for the platform. So I was, uh, I still remember I got it was like the StarCraft like battle chest thing that had like StarCraft, the original StarCraft, and then the Brood War expansion. I think it had Diablo 2, but like I never played that. Um, but like it was like this big box. It was like a huge rectangle. And I got it at Costco or something. Like my mom got it for me for my birthday at Costco or something. And that was my first introduction to it. And I was a kid and I had a great time playing the campaign. The other thing I usually liked to do is I would like play with cheat codes and just make like 1800 mutalisks and just fly around and blow stuff up because it's very satisfying. And then that was my earliest introduction to it. I had no uh, exposure to the competitive scene. I might have had a friend who had like an older brother who was into it, but like I had no contact with that kind of competitive side of it. I knew it existed, but like I just didn't. I I had no interest in it, right? Um, and I have great memories of playing that original campaign. I do think I want to revisit it because like I haven't played it since I was a child, so I still want. I remember the story being like pretty interesting and fun, But that was my first introduction to it. And then when StarCraft 2 came out, Wings of Liberty, I played the campaign. That's it. It was a great time. I had a great time. It was probably around the release date, maybe a couple months after, and I was like, "Yeah, it's a Blizzard game, and I'll play it on my MacBook." I don't know. I was in college or high school or something like that, and I had a great time. And then I closed it and never opened it for, I don't know, 10 years, maybe less, something like that. And then this was like late 2017, like December or something. I was unemployed at the time, and the the advertisements for Legacy of the Void were like, I think they were on like Hulu or something, because that's where I like watched all of my media because I didn't have money. Um, so like I kept seeing those ads over and over again because like you get the same ads over and over, and they were funny and they were interesting, and I was like, yeah, I do remember that game, StarCraft. And then one thing led to another of me being like, the idea of a game, a competitive game where you have an ability to improve and improve, was something that really appealed to me. And that's what ultimately got me into the competitive 1v1 side. And, like typing in StarCraft beginner tutorial into YouTube is what brought me to Winter YouTube channel, which in turn eventually brought me to Twitch, and then, into the rest of the StarCraft community. But um, yeah, I mean, that's how it pretty much started.
Wow. So yeah, so you essentially put the game aside for about a decade then, right?
Yeah, pretty much from Wings of Liberty to like Legacy of the Void free to play, and maybe add a couple months onto that. Um, oh, and when I started the StarCraft 2 again, I knew I was gonna play Zerg. I had already decided. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play Zerg. I think I bought the uh, the Heart of the Swarm campaign, just as like a warm up activity, and I enjoyed the Wings of Liberty campaign, so it felt like a good thing to do, and I played the Heart of the Swarm campaign, had a great time, and then started to dip my toes into the 1v1 ladder, for better for worse, but yeah, like I definitely knew I was gonna play Zerg. Um,
So I imagine then where exactly did you start off whenever you started playing StarCraft competitively? Like where did you start like at the bottom of the barrel bronze or
yeah, I think I placed into silver 2 or something like that. And like a lot of my like at the beginning, all of my StarCraft content was Winter. Like it was his videos, and I it was his stream as well. Like I watched a lot of his stream. And honestly, the angry coach is a fantastic tool for beginners. Um, I know it's also like a very entertainment thing, and it is entertaining, and it's great. But for me, it also like it taught me how to watch replays. You know, like it taught me how to be like, hey, you dummy, make stuff. You know, there's certain things where like Winter Winter would be like, oh well, you could have had three bases and Roach Hydra, but instead you chose to make 18 lings. uh and it's stuff like that when you're looking at a replay, it's very obvious, right? So even when I started out in silver and gold, I had Winter's voice in my head, pointing out my blindingly obvious mistakes as a new player, right? And of course, when you start, there's a lot of stuff to fix, right? Um, but it gave me a way to look at myself and be like, okay, I can change this, and to this day, I sometimes I hear his voice in when I'm watching my own replays, like.
man, you had the winter announcer before anybody else did.
Yeah, yeah, just for my bad replays. But honestly, he also taught me that, like, yeah, if you want to like rank up, just make Roach Hydra, just make it. Uh, you just make it fast and you'll win. And that's how I got out of gold. That's how I got into plat. Plat, I think you still have to tweak it a little bit, but yeah, that's what I did. I made Roach Hydra very quickly and would walk across and win. Very satisfying. Um, and I think it's a really good way to get your fundamentals, off the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So any I had a question, I totally blanked on it, so disregard me. I'm
That's all right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I have anything else about my origin story. I still kind of carry over some of that play style like into my modern self, where it's just very. I like to be very aggressive with large army supplies and kind of crash into stuff because it's kind of just. I don't know, man. I enjoy it. I enjoy the brute force, and I enjoy just making your own opportunities through aggression. It's
yeah,
a very Terran mindset, but it's what I like, and it's what I like to play. So that's kind of where I'm at today, I guess. Just smashing stuff.
nice. Oh, you have a whole emote dedicated exclusively to that.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta embrace it.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. You want to do your story here?
Yeah, so it's actually oh my god, when did it start? So, for those of you who don't know or don't remember, uh video game demos actually used to come on disc, and they used to come with like
Yeah.
20 demos on them. I happened it, by this is almost completely by happenstance, but my parents actually happened to get one of those demo disc with 20 games on it and put it into the computer because one of them wanted to see if there are any cool new games coming out. Um, During that time, I was actually playing a lot of Command and Conquer Red Alert, and I loved like for my little 4-year-old brain, I was just like, oh, this is so cool. I get to control many things instead of one thing.
Yeah.
This is amazing. I love this. And then, my brother would be off in the corner just like, I want to play on the computer. I want to play something different. Strategy sucks. But so they happened to find, the StarCraft demo on that disc, and they played through it a little bit and just like, wow, I think Will's really gonna like this. I mean, it's a strategy game. So I was garbage at it, but I played the hell out of that demo.
Yeah.
Like I played every single mission. I beat the first one and that was about it. But I kept playing it and I kept playing it and I kept playing it until my parents were just like, all right, you got to get off the family computer. You're done.
Yeah.
But they saw that I was extremely interested in it, and they're just like, well, we should get him the full game. So they went out, and I can't remember if it was for Christmas or my birthday, but I think I was 5 years old, and they got me the battle chest as well. And I think
Yeah.
mine came with StarCraft, Brood War, and I want to say Warcraft 2. I think that was part of
Yeah.
mine. But yeah, so they installed that, and I continued to be garbage at the original StarCraft. But after a while, like I kept playing it. I kept playing it. Like it was like every single day I would like come home from school and I would immediately get on the computer and just play the campaign
Yeah.
constantly. Um, yeah, at some point, yeah, I mean, like years went by, and I still came back to the campaign. And at some point, I even busted open the map editor, and I would make my own campaigns because I was like starved for
Ooh.
content. I,
Nice.
honestly, I might still have those maps somewhere. They might be locked away on an old computer. I really need to go back and check. But
Yeah.
I I kept doing it, and then one of my friends who happened to also be into StarCraft, he's like, "Dude, did you hear that they're making a StarCraft 2?" I was like, "Shut up." It's been so many years, there's no way. He's like, no, yeah. So he went out and he actually printed off all of the unit stats for all of the new units in StarCraft 2. And
Nice.
he handed me basically a booklet and just like, you got to check all this stuff out. And I was just like, this is amazing. And I went to my parents. I'm just like, please, I have to have this. For my birthday, please. So they went out and pre-ordered it, and then they told me on my birthday, just like, yeah, it'll be coming in. Um,
Nice.
So I again, it was just campaign. Believe it or not, I did not really grow up with the internet all that much. Like I didn't get into online culture until I was like 18 years old. But I played the hell out of the campaign, and I kept playing the hell out of the campaign. Now go into customs and just like build a ton of stuff and throw it at the enemy.
Yeah, yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah, at some point I did put it away for a little while, just because you can only play through the campaign so many times before you're just like, yeah.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
I when I went off to college, I got a crappy little laptop to do all my schoolwork on, and my parents gave me a new copy of Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm. I was just like, this is okay, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have something to do while I'm at college. Everybody else wants to, go out and make friends. No, not me. I'm gonna stay in my dorm and play some StarCraft.
Yeah.
But it was at that time that I actually learned that, StarCraft had a competitive scene at all. I didn't realize that, there's actual competition behind this game until, I got my own internet connection and uh, got to explore it on my own. So I believe it or not, I had ladder anxiety before I ever even hopped onto ladder. So
Poor guy. Poor guy.
yeah. So what I did, I actually went online. I was just like, how do you play StarCraft 2 online? And like the first person I came across was Husky StarCraft, I think, which if you don't know that name, that's an old name and not
Oh yeah,
super
I
relevant.
only because I'm so new to relatively like I'm 3 years deep in the scene, so relatively new. I know of him, and I know that he was pretty huge and a big influence in a lot of people who are still in the scene today. But that's about it.
Yeah. I mean, currently there's a lot of drama around him in the StarCraft 2 scene,
Oh
but
yeah, oh yeah. I've gotten the updates.
yeah.
I've gotten the updates on the current status and all that fun
Yeah.
stuff. But whatever.
Yeah, it's fine. You know what? He can do whatever. Um, but yeah, so I started actually watching all of his, and he even had a series called Ladder Anxieties, where he would just go into a game. He's just like, yeah, I'm nervous about this. Everybody's gonna be nervous about this. You shouldn't be.
Yeah,
Like, it's just a game. Yada yada. Like, you have mistakes. He went through a lot of like good coaching things during all those series. So at some point, I was just like, I'm just gonna boot it up. I'm gonna see what happens, and I lost probably about 4 or 5 games in a row before getting placed into bronze.
sure.
And back then it was just bronze. There was no bronze one,
Yeah.
two, or three.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But like I didn't play a lot because every time I sat down, it would just be like I would either just stare at the screen or I would just be like, no, I got college work to do. But after a while, like when I had like really really moved out of my mom's house, I went and actually bought Legacy of the Void for myself whenever it came out, and I'm just like, okay, you know what? I've got my own place. I've got, I don't really have a lot of adult responsibilities yet, so I'm just gonna grind through this. And after that, like I started taking the competitive ladder like extremely seriously, and
Yeah.
trying to get better. And then
Yeah.
we're here at Diamond.
And here we are. Here we
Yeah.
are. I think that's really cool the way like your parents were like, "Wow, he loves strategy. Good thing there's this space strategy game over here."
It's really bizarre because like every once in a while, like I'll tell my mom just like, yeah, I've been streaming for a hobby and I've been, playing that strategy game that you got me all those years ago. And she's just like, huh? I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, but she does it in a very supportive way. I don't want to make
Yeah.
it sound like she's just like, how are you still playing that game? No, she's very
Yeah.
supportive about it. She's just like, yeah, I'm glad that, you're enjoying yourself. I'm glad I gave that to you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Little did she know how much this would influence your life.
Yeah, she was always one of those type of people who would there was always those parents who are just like, you will never get anywhere with video games. This is yeah. She was always the type of person just like, I don't know, they're just having fun with it. Let them play.
Yeah. That's funny. You're youngest sibling? Younger?
I'm actually the oldest.
Oh, you're the oldest? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm the youngest. So like my parents were like, "Ah, yeah, you can whatever." Yeah, all right, he can be on the computer, whatever.
Well, like the tough thing I guess for my parents was just like we all liked different types of video games. So
Sure.
it wasn't like that they're just like, oh well, Will's done with Brood War, so here you go, next child, you can play Brood War now, because he
Yeah.
probably would have broke that disc.
Yeah, I see.
He hates strategy games so much. It's hilarious. I would wake up early in the morning specifically to get on the computer before him and piss him off.
Yes, the yin to the yang there. Fantastic.
It's like I want to
Um,
I want to play Deer Hunter. I'm like, no, no, not today.
that's funny, man. Were you always Terran, like Terran minded? Was that always
Yes.
the plan? Yes.
The
I had a
like,
feeling.
yeah. Whenever I started playing the campaigns, I preferred the Terran campaigns. When Wings of Liberty came out, I was fine with there only being a Terran campaign.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so just from all of those experiences, when I started, playing actually competitively, I'm just like, well, I have all these good memories of Terran. We're just going to play that.
Yeah. No, I get that. I've had some people in my chat where they're like, I don't know what to play. Like, what race do I pick? And I'm like, just pick the cool one. Pick
Yeah, I
pick the
mean,
one pick the one that's the coolest. Like that's it. Like you can do whatever you want after that. Like you don't need to think about it too hard. And for me, it was an easy decision. I think we've talked about this before, but like we were both influenced by the movie Starship Troopers.
yeah.
Um, and I was influenced because I was like, these space bugs are sick. And then you were like, these men with guns are sick. And
Yeah.
like it's just hilarious that we both were exposed by that and like or influenced by that, and like it's just,
Yeah.
just different. But yeah, man, space bugs, they're super cool.
Yeah, the Space Marines are also pretty cool, surprisingly. We won't talk about the other one. I'm just kidding. Um, but yeah, so I mean, whenever new people come into my chat, I usually just tell them like, you know, play a little bit of each and pick whichever one you like.
Yeah,
It's like, I mean, because at the end of the day, like, there's no strong race in bronze.
yeah,
There's like, just make a bunch of stuff and go kill the other guy. That's
yeah,
how it always works in bronze.
yeah. I think it's a challenging decision for a new player where you don't have that same sort of like the way we did where we were like, yeah, of course I'm gonna be this race.
Yeah.
Even Healy, I'm pretty sure it was like Protoss, right?
No, she was Terran.
Oh
She was
really?
Terran
Oh,
in
I'm wrong.
wings. Yeah, she was Terran in wings.
Well, she sure
Protoss
talks about
is.
she sure talks about Protoss a lot. So, no, but like it's I don't know. It's this sensation that like I don't know that like once you pick a race, like you're committed to it like
Oh
forever.
yeah,
Like,
no,
and,
no,
and I definitely feel that energy from some of the people who ask me like, what do I do? And it's like, just pick one.
no. Like,
That's
yeah,
fine.
you're more than welcome to off race or choose another race or play random. Just play
Yeah,
random. Play
yeah,
all three of them and have a blast.
yeah. It's
It's
just
just
it's
like,
just funny.
yeah.
It's just funny because everyone kind of comes at it from a different direction.
Yeah, those same people do come back, a few months later, just like, what style should I play? Just like, oh, we're gonna go for this again. Okay, just play whatever you want.
Yeah, play what's fun. Play what you enjoy. It's
If
as complicated as you need to make it.
yeah, if you want to cheese people, go cheese people. You may
Sure.
make a couple of enemies along the way, but yeah, cheese them. It's
Yeah,
fun. It's
exactly.
exciting. Yeah, but it's I don't know.
No, I think that's a pretty well-rounded origin story. So like was Husky like your main exposure to the scene or like was there anything
He
else that got you in?
Yeah, so he was the primary exposure I got on YouTube until I learned Total Biscuit was big into the StarCraft scene, and then I
Yeah.
started watching exclusively like Shoutcraft Kings. Um,
Okay, yeah,
I,
yeah.
I didn't actually get introduced to Twitch until much later. Like
Yeah.
I remember posting either in All Things Terran or StarCraft. Um, no, it was somebody had actually posted free coaching in one of those two. And I was just like, I'm in gold. I could use some coaching. So
Yeah.
I hit him up and like he had a Twitch channel and everything. And he's just like, yeah, come on in. I'm going to stream it. And we'll see what happens. And he gave me a whole ass coaching lesson, like 2 hours.
Nice.
And then I was just like, there's a whole nother scene of StarCraft players. I'm in heaven.
I think it's one of those things too where for me it was like just discovering that like coaches for StarCraft exist was like very eye-opening to me
Yeah,
as far as like, oh, like this people take this really seriously. Like and it's like it's how much I wanted to take it seriously at the time as well. Like I was like, oh, like there are people who are like instructors who are available, you know, and like I just, you know, it's cool, man. I thought it was really cool that, you know, there would be that level of dedication to this whole improving and getting better sort of thing, right? And again, that was still something that really appealed to me and still does to this very day, you know?
yeah, definitely. The funny thing was is that I think the next person I got introduced to was Florencio, like the
Sure.
craziest, this craziest
Sure, why not?
StarCraft player, and it was just like, wow, there's all sorts of people here, and I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's really you can create whatever you want to in this strange medium, you know? You can really express yourself, and it's something that when I watch Twitch streams too, especially with people who are laddering, you can learn a lot about someone's character on how they are when they're laddering, right? Because it is a very harsh environment and it is one that is constantly changing and constantly aggressive and confusing and disorienting. And you know, you're watching someone ladder, you're watching someone live that experience in
Yeah,
real time, you know. And it's always interesting to kind of watch that, and it's something that, you know, always makes StarCraft streams enjoyable for me, you know.
yeah, you get to watch a lot of different types of thought processing, a lot of different types of gameplay styles. You get to see, you get to sample the races on Twitch. It's you get to like, you get to watch aggressive Zergs and be like, maybe that's not for me. And you watch like some like a mech Terran like turtling on 5 bases, just like not really. And then you see like, Florencio making 5 void rays at the 3 minute mark. It's just like, that's for me. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, teach me.
And it's always gonna be different, you know, and it's you know, there's people who watch that mech player and they're like, "Yep, that's what I want to do. Tanks
Yeah.
and robots. That's for me." You know, and it's great. It's great that we all can have our own sort of unique enjoyment out of the same thing, right?
Oh, 100%. Honestly, that's what, you know, really got me into, the competitive, well, not necessarily the competitive ladder scene, but, like all the different communities that are now around StarCraft. It's just like they
Oh
pop
yeah.
up everywhere, and there's always something that, there's always like a place that you can go to no matter what your play style is. Maybe if you BM a little bit too much, maybe not, but
Yeah. No, for sure. Um, all right. I mean, I think do you think we can start the wrap up process here? I think we
I
hit some
think
good bullet points here, I think.
I think we did. So just a heads up to everybody. I really want to thank my co-host Captain Happa for coming out here. He's been putting in a lot of work into helping me get this all set up. I did the wrong command. Congratulations, me.
It's all right. It's the first episode. Stuff's gonna go wrong, you
Oh, 100%.
know?
We're going to plow through it though. So thank you very much. Go follow him on Twitch. He makes tons of incredible StarCraft 2 content. Follow him on Twitter where it's all memes or mostly memes. Which was it called?
I think I say it's all memes. That's my channel command, but it's okay. Yeah, there's StarCraft stuff on it, and it's stuff of me doing stuff on stream sometimes, and other miscellaneous gaming. You know, whatever. It is what it is.
I mean, he does really put out some incredible content, so please do check him out. You can find my socials down there. Uh, for the podcast itself, please go check us out on Spotify, Google Podcast. Oh, for God's sake. Spotify, Google Podcast, anywhere where you can find podcasts, we might be on there, except for iTunes. We're working on that one. We're also working on getting together a YouTube channel. The VOD will be saved here on Twitch. Uh, yeah. Anything else you
Yeah.
want to add?
No, I mean, the distribution of the podcast will kind of evolve over time, but I think Spotify is definitely the best place for it right now, just as far as like ease of access for our viewers. But yeah, I just want to say thank you to you, Will, for being fantastic. And thanks to anyone listening out there. I hope this is an interesting discussion, and I had a good time doing it. I can't wait to keep doing this, man. I
Yeah, I
enjoy these
can't either.
discussions, and it's one of these things. It's a lot of like bullet points I've had on my stream very briefly, but it's always nice to have this kind of to kind of dig a little deeper, and really have a conversation. Put the headphones on and get in there.
Yeah, 100%. I enjoy this a great deal. We will be doing this again in about 2 weeks if you'd like to come out and see that. We haven't chosen a topic yet, but we'll figure something out and let you guys know. Anyways, thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. I do appreciate it very much. And I will we will see you in 2 weeks.